Always be careful who you treat because you never know when they're going to be your boss. It's just amazing how things come full circle.
We always talk about the power of connection. You never know where God's going to lead you. You never know where life's going to take you. Talk about your time in inside sales and the learning curve and the difference to being in oil and gas.
It was a great place because I was able to get familiar with terminology. I was also anxious to get out because I can remember about 6 months in and you're like, hold on, I know you want to know it all yesterday, but it's a process. And I am grateful that I did that.
What makes Viking special to you?
It really is like family here. The leadership here has been amazing, and that says a lot because I feel like y'all care. That translates into every facet of this business. Our customers see it. Y'all actually care. I think we care more than most.
Well, welcome to another edition of the Viking Roundtable. I'm super excited to have our Director of Marketing and our West Texas Sales Representative, Miss Andrea Terna, here with us today. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to kind of share a little bit more about Andrea. And Andrea joined us a few years ago, so I'm going to stop doing the talking and let you do the talking. But kind of introduce yourself, where you're from, a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm Andrea and I'm from Montgomery. I actually came from Montgomery ISD into oil and gas almost 4 years ago. You were kind enough to take a chance on me in kind of small world. It's so cool that we have Landon here now because, as you know, I worked with his wife, Deidre, at the school and friends with her for many years. And it's been fascinating to see how many oil and gas families that I actually interacted with, having no idea that they were oil and gas. And I can remember you saying, always be careful who you treat because you never know when they're going to be your boss, or like, it's just amazing how things come full circle. And so, life happens and I needed a different path. Deidre, God-fearing woman went home and talked to her husband, and one day I think y'all were hanging out and you needed someone, and he's like, hey, I've got the perfect girl for you. And here I am.
Here we are.
I'm not saying I'm perfect, but hey, I just, have got to trust God knows what he's doing.
That's right. No, that's it's been pretty neat to watch, and we always talk about the power of connection. And you never know where God's going to lead you. You never know where life's going to take you. And so I think it was described to me as Andrea solved problems before we knew we had them. Was kind of the thing that sold me. So you first started out in inside sales, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so talk about your time in inside sales and the learning curve and the difference between running the central office at the Montgomery ISD to being in oil and gas.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one's a loaded question there. But so starting off in inside sales, for me, having no oil and gas background, it was a great place because I was able to get familiar with terminology. So many customers I was able to establish a relationship with just via communication, whether email or over the phone. So I was very, very grateful for the groundwork. I mean, but I was also anxious to get out because I can remember about 6 months in and you're like, hold on, I know you want to know it all yesterday, but it's a process. And I am grateful that I did that because, like I said, it's definitely given me a good foundation for where I'm at now. As far as going from Montgomery ISD, I mean, it started off at the elementary school and then had made my way to district office working in HR and operations. And it's been a little bit of a 180. Like, I love this ride that I'm on, but there are some days that amazes me how many curse words you can put into a sentence and it actually makes sense. And it will make me blush, but I love the people that are in this business. I mean, like, we're all here for the same goal, and it's a sacrifice to be in this industry. And I really see that a lot out in Midland because you see so many families that, are apart, like the majority of them are men that are out there like trying to make a good living for their families. And, and meanwhile, you got the mamas back home keeping those home fires burning. And I have a lot of respect for them because that's a hard thing to do. And I can remember one time we actually had talked about your wife at one time.
Yep.
Doing that. And do you remember that conversation?
I don't remember the exact conversation, but I would like to think that I like to dote on my wife whenever I can.
Oh, no. Y'all are the sweetest couple. I always talk about I love how y'all are. And that's one thing I actually I believe so much in the sanctity of marriage. And it amazes me. Not everyone does feel that way, but it is such a gift. And it is such a gift. But I can remember one time you, it was right around Valentine's Day, and you're like, yeah, Erin has actually kind of mentioned, maybe she should get a job or something. And I'm like, okay. I go, well, how do you feel about it? And you're like, I don't want her to. And I go, well, I said, I've been in a very unique position. I've got to see both sides of the coin. I've got to be the wife who, kind of worked part time, but, was really there for the kids and
Hmm.
the family and kept everything going. While my husband was in the corporate world working. Now that things have changed, like I am now, I feel like kind of been put in that man's role. There are some days I'm so stressed out and I'm so tired. And I've often thought, I'm like, I hope for my husband, I was support for him, that I made his life a little bit easier, that whenever he came home, like he had a safe place to land. Because you know what? The world is hard. The pressures that we feel, and to know that you've got a safe haven to go to, that's priceless.
Yeah.
And so whenever I mentioned that, you were like, she does that. I go, then let her know she is doing her job. And like I said, I don't, the men, like I said, y'all work hard, but the wives work hard too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and look, at Viking, I think family is a big part of what we do, and the culture we're trying to build here. And everybody likes to say, "Oh, work's my family," and things like that. And we want to truly embody it as much as possible. So, talk a little bit about your family. Tell me, you got kiddos, I know, but I know it's an extremely important part of your life, and kind of how you're able to strike infamous term of work-life balance. I don't know if that exists, but
I'm working on that one.
yeah, yeah.
As you told me, it was kind of funny. Actually, I was at an event recently and one of our competitors was there, and which I love our competitors, by the way. But he hugged me and he's like, girl, he's like, you're like Jesus. You are all over the place, just because I'm, always
Yeah.
I try to be at so many of the events. And as far as families, so I have got four, two
Hmm.
boys, two girls, and I've lived a very, very blessed life. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I am a widow. I know you know that because
Yeah.
that's what led me here. And I had lost my husband to COVID almost 5 years ago, and so whenever I said, for those that don't know, that I've seen both sides of the coin, I've been very blessed to have
Right.
a marriage, and I truly believe in marriage. Like I said, it is a gift from God. But God has a plan for us all, and it's been crazy. Like I said, I had four teenagers whenever I lost my husband, and so to go from like protected, just close knit community of Montgomery ISD into oil and gas, and then to make an even bigger move going to Midland,
Hmm.
it has taken so much faith, so much faith. And
Yeah.
my faith plays a huge, huge role in my life. I would not be where I'm at today if it was not for my faith.
Yeah, no, and so talk about that jump a little bit. The jump from Montgomery, Texas to Midland. You're just moving across the state, right? Because you're originally from East Texas, right?
Yeah, the very
Yeah,
bottom part of East Texas.
yeah, East Texas to Montgomery, and now was this you had to move to Midland, or was this whose idea was moving to Midland?
I feel like we have a difference of opinion on this one. For me, I knew that I wanted to be with Viking,
Hmm.
and Midland is where the opportunity was at.
Yeah,
So you and Blake had kind of approached me, and I started really praying about it. And there was probably about a 6 month stretch or 6 week stretch. I had like I knew, I'm like, okay, if they come back again, this is where I need to go. And you cannot imagine the pushback I have gotten from my family, some of my close friends. And as a matter of fact, the 2 nights before I was due to move to Midland, I had dinner with a girlfriend. And, as we're talking, probably a bottle or two deep in wine, so she said, I just want you to know, I had every intention of trying to talk you out of this move,
right.
because she's also oil and
Yeah,
gas wife. And she said, but as I'm sitting here talking to you, she's like, you're right. You're supposed to be in Midland.
right.
And I do. Don't get me wrong. I probably cried like every week for the first 2 months, but
Right.
like I said, God's been so good to me, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity that y'all have given me to represent. I mean, as a matter of fact, whenever I'm out there, I've actually had a customer tell me, they're like, you know what, you are the only dedicated power section salesperson out here. Like, you should put that on a billboard.
That's great.
So they do like that we're dedicated like that.
Yeah, no, it's good to be where the action is for sure. And
Absolutely.
I lived out in Midland from 2012 to 16, and we just have great memories of our time there. Backwards, 2008 to 2012, but had great memories of our time there, and it's awesome to see how much the city has grown, and obviously oil and gas is a huge part of that. And what I always tell people is everybody's out there for the same reason, right? And so it's a big family, it's a big community out there, and we're grateful to have you out in West Texas. So you mentioned you wanted to be a part of Viking. What is that draw to you? What is the draw of Viking to you? Is it are you just a huge fan of rotors and stators, or is it like what? Talk to me about what makes Viking special to you.
I mean, yes, obviously I love power sections. I mean, for sure, that's number one. Um, no, it really is like family here. And I'll be honest, the leadership here has been amazing. And that says a lot because I feel like the employees, the environment, the way we operate, it is a reflection of y'all. Y'all care. And that translates into every facet of this business. Our customers see it. I mean, that is one thing that we probably get so many compliments on is they're like, y'all actually care. And I'm not saying anyone else doesn't, but I think we care more than most.
Yeah.
And that goes a long ways with people. I mean, like, you can have anyone out there that wants to sell anything, but when you find someone that is genuine and like they're just intentional whenever they talk to you, like that makes a difference with people.
Hmm.
And it goes a long way. And I feel like that's what Viking is. Like they care.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to hear, you and I talk all the time, and seeing your transition. I come from, my parents were educators, so understanding the school system and things like that. It's really cool for you to see the both sides of the coin. And because my dad, I'll talk to him and tell him, we're going, golf and do whatever. He goes, which office are you at today? The one with grass or your actual office? He gives me a hard time about it. But to hear that means a lot. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build here something special, something that's people can count on, right? And so it's neat to hear that. But talk to me about your perception of what you thought sales was before you got into it to what it is now.
It is the most bipolar relationship I have ever been in. It is.
Well, you're just starting to play golf, so just get ready for that because it gets worse.
No, I mean the highs are high and the lows are low in this. And I can remember you telling me like I'm a high energy person, and you're like,
You don't say.
some days. And I remember you telling me like there are going to be days where you may not be always doing something, and like that's very, very hard for me. So I have had to learn to just settle down a little bit. I mean, I am glad though that you have thrown the marketing stuff at me because that does kind of help to fill in the gaps, and I'm thankful for that.
So talk about the marketing side of it. Is it everything you thought it would be? Is it different? Is it harder? Is it more? Is it less? Talk about like there's not a whole lot of people that are the director of marketing and also calling on customers on a daily basis. So how do you balance that? Like
At times it does get to be a little bit much. I am very thankful for the marketing company that I can work so closely with.
you can say their name, they'd be fine with
Oh,
it.
okay. With Midnight Marketing. So, because they're so great at like helping me create things, like I may come to them with some ideas, then they'll come back with, some possibilities. So I love that we can kind of bounce, we can collaborate together. Like that helps. At times it does get to be a little bit of a stretch because also with the marketing, I mean, as you know, I'm involved with a few organizations. I keep getting asked to,
A few?
I mean, you know what? I have a servant's heart. I'm a good volunteer. So. But
You also don't know how to say no sometimes.
I know. But you know what? It goes back to what I have been through. And like I said, whenever my husband passed away unexpectedly, our whole, like the school, the community, the churches, like they rallied around my family and they carried us through the darkest days of our life. And for me, it's almost a way to pay it forward by being part of these other organizations because I hope no one knows, but like I said, when someone carries you, like you'll never know, like it's life changing.
Yeah.
and it's a powerful thing. So I do, like I said, try to go to all those events, and yes, that does get a little bit exhausting, but it is also great because I'm realizing it helps to get Viking's name out in different circles. I mean, so
Yep.
many people don't know that, like, oh, wait, we have options. And so, like, I'm getting our name out there.
Yep.
And honestly, I love it. I mean, I do love the sales side. I mean, really, they do kind of go hand in hand.
Sure.
But I love the relationships and the people that I meet in this journey. Like, that is like, I am a people person, and
Hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the good things about the marketing side, or one of the difficult things about the marketing side, is what you're attracted to, what gets you to go buy a new product, from a marketing standpoint. But also you've got to figure out, well, not everybody thinks like Andrea, so you've got to figure out different ways of putting a message out there, or really highlighting Viking in a number of different ways, whether it be via a podcast or some stats that we've put out with some of our good runs and things like that. So it challenges you to think kind of outside of your own bubble, and I really enjoy that about the marketing side.
Well, I mean, as you know, early on, you would receive some of my novel texts that you're like, there's so many words here,
Hmm.
which again, this is still a predominantly male industry. And so I've really had to work on reining some of these things in. You know what? They want quick data, like hard facts. And
Yeah.
so that's been a learning curve for me, which I think we're getting there. Again, our marketing company has been very just like essential to that process. So
Yeah, sometimes less is more, I think is the saying,
yeah, yes, true.
but so what do you have? We talk about sales, marketing, all the things you're involved in. What do we have coming up from a Viking standpoint? What are the things you're involved in? I know, OHH, you're big in OHH. We just got done with the Down for a Cure golf tournament, which you're always a huge part of and is always such a big success. But what kind of events do we have to look forward to from Viking here in the near future?
I mean, it's definitely going to be some more OHH. We have our clay shoot coming up. We have the saltwater fishing tournament,
Yep.
which, funny story on this. I don't know if you ever knew this. So the first time that I was there, I mean, I was there just to volunteer. And one of our customers was like, oh, you can fish. I was like, no, I don't really like fishing. I like hunting. I'm not so much a fisherman. But he's like, no, she's like, just go. I was like, well, okay, fine. So had the best time ever. Well, the following year, he's like, are you going to fish with me? I go, yes. I go, and I'm even going to have my fishing license this year. He's like, you didn't have your fishing license? I go, well, no. I go, you asked me last minute, but you know what? No harm, no foul. It worked out.
So we've got oilfield helping hands. We also have basin burnout coming out that we're participating in. Yeah.
Oh, and tell
Yeah.
me what your role is going to be in
It
that.
is busy time of year this year in the oil and gas industry as the weather starts to get nicer and people want to get out and
Yeah.
about before it gets too hot. Yeah, I think I'm a judge for a couple different categories this year
I was curious if you
at
knew
the
what
basin burnout.
categories.
I don't know actually, but I like to eat.
That would be a fun one to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So, no, we're looking forward to that. That's such a great event, and it's turned
Amazing
into such a
cause.
big thing and a great cause. So excited to be a part of that. Yeah, and then it just continues to roll. Like we've got, so clay shoot this month. May is basin burnout. June is
You're doing wildcatters?
is yes,
Okay.
saltwater splash. July is another round of Drive for a Cure in Colorado, and then we go from Colorado to Wyoming for the Wildcatters, and it just keeps rolling. And I think we're into fall clay shoots. So
Golf tournaments. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It'll
So
be fun.
what talk to us about what other exciting changes you see with Viking? On the customer front, you've been a big part of our customer portal and getting that off the ground. What is so great about that?
I'm super excited about 2026. I know we're already, a good quarter of the way in, but 2025, there were a lot of changes that came about, and I think we have got so much to offer. I mean, you want to like, I always love an underdog story and a comeback story, and man, that's who we are, and I love to be part of that. We've got some new elastomers coming out that customers are wanting. I mean, as I'm really trying to get into the coil tubing market side of it, that like the NBRs, the HNBRs, like that's a hot topic for them. And so
Hmm.
I'm glad that now we can offer some variety on that.
Yeah.
Trying to get some more roots established in Canada is exciting. To find out that, we are now working internationally. I'm actually trying to team up with one of our customers to see if we can put out a marketing post on that, because it's not just US. Like
Right.
we are spreading roots, and I'm so excited to be part of that.
Yeah, that's outstanding. We did forget a couple events that we do have coming up. So we have our 5-year anniversary, which is crazy to think about. That 2021 is when we started this journey, and we're already 5 years deep. And
were you employee number one?
On the books, employee number one.
That's
The
cool.
most important part of that, though, is the guys that we got from the transaction that are just a solid core of our team that hopefully will be on the Viking Roundtable here pretty soon if I can get them.
Okay.
If I can get them to stop injecting some stators every once in a while. But yeah, so we've got our anniversary, but then we have our annual crawfish boil, which is open to our customers.
May
And
21st, I
yeah, May
believe.
21st, the
That's
Thursday
right.
before
Yes.
Memorial Day. So excited to get that out. And we haven't even discussed this yet, but we might change locations and have it over here at this
I
location.
feel like a little bird
So
mentioned that.
yeah, it's
So
me and my good communication skills always hit you with
I'm
stuff
used
last
to
minute.
it.
So, but yeah, it is an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be a part of Viking. Obviously with the addition of Landon, and it's really full circle for, again, his recommendation to get you a part of the team, and now he's the vice president of sales here, and really exciting for that. And we've got some other big additions coming here pretty soon that I think people will be excited about. The reason that we wanted to do the Viking podcast and the Viking Roundtable was to really, humanize Viking, right? There's a lot of people. A lot of people get to see Andrea. A lot of people know myself, but the team, the inside sales team, the guys that are on the shop floor, the gals that are working out on the shop and putting the product out that we get to sell every day and that we get to rep and that we get to be proud of. They're special, and that's what makes Viking special. And so that's why we want to do this. So I'm excited to kind of get some of those folks on here and let them tell their stories. And really appreciate you coming on here, being open and vulnerable, and just showing people, who you are and what, talking about what makes Viking special. And this is going to put you on the spot a little bit, but you have not one but 3 cameras here, and you've got an opportunity. If I ask you, like, what is your parting wisdom, for the people that are going to listen to this podcast and watch this podcast? A long time ago, when I started doing videos on LinkedIn, somebody asked me, and I'm going to continue to talk a little bit to let you think about this, but somebody asked me, I was doing these Friday freebies, and I kind of started to wane a little bit, and somebody reached out and they're like, "Hey man, why aren't you still doing those?" And I was like, "I don't even know if anybody watches them." He goes, "Man, if somebody watches, if one person hears it and they needed to hear what you had to say that day, then it makes it all worth it." And so it was a little bit of motivating factor for me to continue to do those. So if one person got to hear your advice, whether it be life advice or work advice, whatever you want, floor is yours. What do you have for us, Miss Terna?
So I heard it was a pastor and author who had wrote, "God never uses anyone greatly until he tests them deeply." And everyone has a backstory. I mean, like you have got an incredible backstory, and what you have turned it into. Yesterday was an example, the Down for a Cure thing and golf tournament. And it's amazing how you are using that to be a blessing to others. And for me, I would like to think, again, like I said, my story is not a typical story, but I truly believe God gives us our stories for a reason, and we can either use that as a crutch or a platform, for his testimony and to help others along. And so I think my parting advice would be, don't ever take moments for granted. And it's so easy to do that. It's so easy to do that. And if you've got a wife, you've got kids, a husband, that is a gift. That is a gift, and cherish that. I mean, life is short.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Viking Roundtable. Keep on the lookout. Keep on your toes, because Viking's got big things coming. We can't wait to see you out and about at all the events. I'm sure Andrea will be there. You can kind of set your watch to it. But really appreciate your time and being open with us. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks.